What's going on there in Cleveland? What is the sense you're getting in this town, Dave?
There is excitement. They recognize that the Cavs have won their last 8 home playoff games during the postseason. Obviously, they opened up with that disappointing loss to the Indiana Pacers, but 8-1 overall. And as close as things were in games 1 and 2, there is no need. There's no need or no reason to look at the series as being over. The recent history, obviously, with the Boston Celtics looking really good against the Cavs in games 1 and 2 at TD Garden, and then the Cavs winning by 30 in game 3 gives some recent history to back up that opinion. And, my straw poll of players, training staff members, coaches on the Cavs tells me that there's still belief inside that locker room.
All right, so then before we get to that through the prism of Game 1, I want to continue talking Game 3 with you, sir. What's the wrinkle? What's the change? Or is it just like rolling the same guys out and just assuming the home court will get a better result?
Lou says he's going to give a chance to Rodney Hood. I don't know if that is, okay, here's this guy that is capable of scoring 20 for us, and he's a 6'9", rangy guy who can switch off to Kevin Durant, as much as Jordan Clarkson can't hit a shot, and it can't get any worse. So let's try this other player and see what happens. Give him 10 to 15 minutes. And if he gives us 6 to 8 points off the bench, that's a bonus. That's all good. That's the only stated thing that's going on in terms of mentality. They want to play more physical, and you hear that in just about every playoff series. But that seems to be what they think will unlock them in terms of taking the tenor of the game over. I mean, Game 1 was the slowest pace game that the Warriors played all postseason. And Game 2, the Warriors were able to speed it up a little bit, get their imprint on the game more so. The Cavs feel like the physicality will help them slow it down, help them play possession basketball. That's one good thing they've done over the first 2 games. They haven't turned the ball over. And when they're doing that, LeBron James is the basketball savant, and he can pick apart the defense.
All right, and as much as I really do want to go back to Game 1 and use your Game 1 reference to turn the page, I'm not ready to do that just yet, Dave McMenamin. We had Byron Scott in studio yesterday, and I presented to him what Chauncey Billups said at the end of the game, Game 2, that maybe the Cavs should activate Kendrick Perkins if they really want to unleash somebody who's physical and angry. And get physical. He's the guy to do it. Byron Scott said, "Why not?" Because you got your backs against the wall. Although the caveat being that he is such a liability on a pick and roll defense that Ty Lue may not do that. Is there any consideration to do that, Dave?
I love Byron, and Kendrick has been active for a handful of these 20 playoff games they played this year, but I don't think that is in the plan. So Kendrick, he works hard where he is at this stage of his career, but you watch him pregame, he's not the guy that has mobility to play an NBA game at this point.
So that's not even. I could sense by your kind response right there, and also your. What'd you say? Now you know Dave is longer than I do. Is that a little bit of derision in that response? Right there?
No, he just knows it's not a real possibility.
Okay, so just stop talking about it is what you're saying, Dave.
Yeah, kind of, but,
okay.
No disrespect to you, Byron.
No, not at all. No, not at all, Dave. So then why was, Dave, Kyrie Irving traded, right? I mean, if the code red, why was the code red ordered if LeBron was asking Kyrie not to be touched, to use the few good men phrase there, Dave, and unless... Because at the time, the narrative was that LeBron and Kyrie couldn't be Batman and Robin anymore. Robin wanted to be his own Batman.
Correct. So Kyrie Irving was traded because he did not want to play for the Cavs anymore. LeBron James his point of contention wasn't necessarily that the worst thing for our franchise would be to trade Kyrie Irving. His point of contention was to trade Kyrie Irving to our conference rival and only get that in return is a bad idea.
All right. So do you think tonight's the last night that Cavs fans see LeBron James suited up with some hope on the line? Dave?
I think they win tonight. I think, like I said earlier when we first started talking, there is a great degree of belief amongst the people that I've spoke to in this Cavs organization, and that's half the battle. they have a effective game plan where, they've been able to take care of the basketball and not let the Warriors completely get away from them offensively. And they should have some shots fall and have some of their role players play well, like the same way Sean Livingston and JaVale McGee played out of their minds in Game 2 at Oracle. So I think it's a 2-1 series. All that gets the Cavs is probably Andre Iguodala making his series debut in Game 4. And if you don't get that game, it's over in 5.
So you think Iguodala does not play tonight?
I don't think he does.
Okay.
No.
All right. So no Iguodala. And if I'm telling my kids we need to pull up to watch Kendrick Perkins play tonight, say Paw Patrol instead, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I'd be pretty surprised on that
Okay.
one.
All right, Dave.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.